(4:30), sorry. This is the opening for the meeting. Conservation Commission, March 14th, 4:30 PM, Town Hall. I'm Ned Phillips, and I'd like the rest of the commission to identify themselves.
Right, leader.
Taryn McGregor.
Mary Cerulli.
And I see John Hoff coming in. John, thank you. We just started, John. Okay, we're going to open the meeting with the Fab 5 LLC Plat 3, Lot 86, on Cornack Road, fire number 1181. It's an advisory to the zoning board for an application for a special use permit under section 306 and 406 to demolish an existing single-family dwelling and to rebuild a single dwelling and accessory structure. Hello.
Good afternoon. My name is Jeffrey Gladstone. I am currently working with owners from Murphy, and I have with me tonight to answer questions after I give a few words to the additional documents. We have Paul Vicente, who is the architect, and we have Scott Spear, who this is as you have stated, a rebuild of a existing structure, and we have already received from the Rhode Island Department of Environmental Management a determination that a permit is not required, and so I will hand out first a copy of that determination. So as it states in the second paragraph, that after review of this project, they have made a determination that the permit of this project pursuant to the Freshwater Wetland Act or the rules and regulations governing the administration and enforcement of the Freshwater Wetland Act is not required. On the second page, they go through the briefing for the second page. You
So just to quickly just give you a briefing on the project, there's an existing garage and living space that's actually been renovated. The septic, nitrogen removing septic system has actually already been installed. This proposal is to demolish the existing main structure that's on the house. If you see the large scale plans, there's actually some pictures and photos of the footprint of the existing house that's on there. The new residence is pretty much going in exactly where the footprint, well, not, doesn't cover the same footprint, but the same general location of the existing house. So there's no clearing that will need to be done to get that footprint in. We're preserving as much of that vegetation as possible. There's the plans that Jeff handed out shows the soil erosion perimeter around the new proposed construction. In addition, also the secondary one shows new dry wells, so any stormwater runoff from the house, from the new residence will be collected and distributed underground, which currently it does not, so we'll also improve that condition. Yes, to dry wells and let percolate.
I'm familiar with the area, having rented the wagon steel, and I do house watch with Bruce Johnson, who's right down the road. And, you know, I don't think we really have much of a dog in the place, because it's one of the highest lots, okay, on that road. Luckily, you don't have to go down that steep hill, your driveway is just for that. But my recommendation would be that you put curtain drains in. Bruce Johnson's basement is unusable, and it's just, every time it rains, there's pumps. So I don't know, even though it's high ground, it doesn't seem to drain very well.
Yeah, well, we will be taking any, obviously, there's a partial basement in ours, so we'll be taking precautions for that. So I think anything that we're doing up there in the dry walls will certainly help, you know, mitigate any surface runoff, which currently there's nothing there. That just runs right on the existing lawn.
But we're going from what, a 3,600 square foot house to over 5,000 square feet.
Well, the main residence is actually smaller in footprint. There's an additional accessory structure which will bring it up above that. So there's the main residence that we're building in detached accessory structure that'll bring it up to about 5,000 square foot. Correct, correct. Yeah.
It says that in the zoning.
That's correct. Well, we'll need to get a special use permit, but yes, it is.
Right.
Right.
Right, it becomes within the section that requires us to go to planning. But the lot coverage, because it is such a large lot, is, it's less than,
2%.
2%.
Yeah. Well within.
And also, the area that is being disturbed is the same area that is already disturbed, so there's no additional disturbance.
What's the proof that?
4%. 4%. We're well under because I think the special use for a number of reasons, but I think that after 2,500 square feet or 2,000 square feet, you'll need a special use permit.
There are a number of different ways of determining the size of the structure, cubic feet, square feet, and so each of those requires that you ask for a special.
It's under the required.
other question was, the height of the building, the proposed building?
It's below,
It's below the 32 feet, so
Okay.
it's 32.10.
Now, the
3110,
accessory building you're applying for is not the existing garage that's there right now with.
Garage is there.
You're adding another building on.
Exactly.
That's- okay. Is there anything else that you wanted to continue? Thank you.
unless you have any additional questions, we do have some general information on soils, but I'm not certain that that's, if you want that, I'm happy to provide that.
Well, only in terms of how much, as John said, is how much is that infiltrating the basement in terms of permeability of the soil? Is it draining? Is it perched?
And, it is, well, we have a stormwater containment system that, has already been designed
Right.
and, so it works according to design.
Mhm.
It should be.
Yeah, sure.
We know that it will handle all the stormwater on site.
Percolates into the dry well and then slowly let it percolate back into the soil. Yeah. Jim Calderon, who's our engineer, wasn't able to be here today, but I don't know if you have that letter, Jeff. He did put together a narrative on the impact. I only have one copy, but I'm happy to pass that around. Did Jim Calderon one? Yeah. Do we need that? Yeah.
So, let me ask a question. The building sits on, let's say, 2 acres, pretty much of cleared land, would you say? So right now, it's all mowed lawn.
Correct.
Would you be willing to reduce the mowed lawn by, say, 10 to 20%? Like, stop mowing 10 to 15 feet along the perimeter to allow that to be mowed once a year as a wildlife buffer?
Yeah, unfortunately, I didn't have the landscape architect who's James Doyle, Doyle Herman Associates, was retained later on, and he has presented a preliminary plan to the owner. I don't have it yet, but the plan of that, obviously, there's no invasive species. There is a lot more meadows, so there will be a lot of reduction of that lawn. There'll be just limited lawn right adjacent to the front of the house and a little bit to the rear, but as you come in and the approach, a lot of that will be turned into flowering meadows.
And the meadow in front of the house facing the ocean, that'd be kind of, can you bring that perimeter in?
A lot of that will be meadow as well.
And what about, you say no invasive, because the whole house right now is covered with one of the most invasive plants on Block Island, the miscanthus grass. It's 6 feet tall, 5 feet. It's rampant and it's spreading on the island. Is that on the plan to replace that with that grass?
I think anything that's there in the general vicinity of the house, obviously, we're not planning on clearing and going anywhere beyond the woodland area, but anything that's around the house, yes, will have to be dealt with.
There's also two
But-
large shrubs that are like native to Long Island that are against the house.
Mhm.
Facing east and northeast. I was wondering if those are going to be purchased on the property. Well, obviously, that's not really a deal on us.
Right.
But, you're gonna have to leave them. House, so aside or grab them out.
We'll certainly mention that to both the owner and the landscape.
That it's possible that
They're really helpful. To save.
Don, do you have any questions?
we issue it would be easy to put curtain drain around that foundation. Would not be that expensive. Where to flush it, I don't think that.
Mhm.
Yeah, and obviously, again, it's not really real, not the landscape, but it would be nice to see like the metals, whatever it is, they cost for putting in, erosion. control.
The erosion control is on that site plan.
I saw.
Yeah.
in regards to the, right, but there's bylaw.
Oh, I understand. Yeah. 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 Mhm.
Part of the purview of the Conservation Commission is conserve in a sense. So you're asking to increase a building volume by 1,400 square foot. Even though, yes, the neighborhood is filled with large houses. It's kind of hard to go ahead and approve this kind of enlarging of property on the island, which we're trying to conserve visually and aesthetically.
I understand that, and, because of the large size of this, piece of property, this actually, I would suggest works to conserve that piece of property because it's not being used for more than a single residential purpose. It's surrounded by, other, land trust, properties. And I really do think because this is not increased the amount of usable land, or disturbed land, that this truly is a conservation, undertaking. And also, if the improvement is there because of the new house system, which is nitrogen improvement. So I think, I understand what you're saying.
Yeah. So the nitrogen, all the nitrogen removing systems could be utilized on a smaller building.
Sure, of course.
I mean, just because making it bigger and bigger, you're actually retaining what you're.
Part of the increase in size of it, it keeps that structure.
Correct.
And adding another structure on the site. Anybody have any other further thoughts?
Well, what's the size of that section? What are the dimensions of the section in relation?
I think that's important. That the footprint, the main structure is expanding. That's mostly one story of house. So it would be getting the extra
I just, like, we're going down this path that you seem to be open to talking about. And I just want to read the top here, residential development, although inevitable, must nonetheless be done at an appropriate density and in a manner sensitive to the island's environment and history. And, you know, an 8-bedroom house, for, this community is, I know there's other ones, and you're saying that this area is full of big houses, but it's a slippery slope. Just let me finish. And so the resources on the island are confined. This kind of structure needs more water. It needs more maintenance. It needs more energy. And when is this going to not stop, but just be realized by individuals that aren't part of the year-round community, but come here and feel like they can extract rather than, you know, be reasonable, unless these people have 8 kids. So my real question is more philosophical about what is really needed and what is appropriate, not in terms of the acreage of this, but where we're going as a community and as individuals. And I just want to just put that out there to, for consideration. And as a conservation commission, you know, we've asked a whole bunch of questions, but this is a big one. So I just want to go on record that I'm not convinced.
You know, Murphys have been longstanding residents of Block Island, and they don't have 8 kids, but they have 5, and they foster 1, so they do have a big family. Their intention, the existing house there is really deficient to today's standards. We did actually look at renovating the existing house, but to do that would take more effort and energy than just to start from scratch. And John looked over the structure and he consulted with us on that. So they're very environmentally conscious, and trying to build a super efficient, low energy house. So they're very aware and very sensitive to those concerns.
I understand completely your point. But in terms of, the Conservation Commission has certain charges, but they overlap with DEM's as well, and DEM has approved the plans because they aren't interfering with wetlands, and they are meeting all of the requirements, and I would suggest it's going beyond many of the requirements. The requirements are a minimum. I understand that. But this project has been one that's been in development for a very long time and has changed over time. And the use of this large lot, and with the intensity of use being basically half of what's permitted, it really is in keeping with a conservative approach to the use of this land. One of the things that they've been trying to do is trying to honor the interests of their neighbors in terms of making sure that the foliage is such that it's not going to be a burden on neighbors. I think that this is a responsible project, and because they understand and have made changes based upon what the town has asked for and what we have seen over the last 6 months or so in terms of decisions that have come down from the various commissions and the courts. And so we're very much aware of what we're asking for, and we're trying our best to do it in a respectful, conservative fashion.
Thank you very much. If you would like me to make the motion, we'd like to.
I have one small thing procedural. Take a look at the big map. I saw markings for a temporary dirt pile. Has any plan been made to run a burrito or something on that, just to keep any erosion?
Yeah, I think should have it.
Something like that. And everything is, I think the whole area is going to.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I think not necessarily pavements, but
Yeah,
thank
that's-
you.
There is a silt fence indicated around that and around all the construction.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I'm going to make a motion based on the fact that this proposal is sort of going against the Conservation Commission's outlook, purview to maintain, conserve the Block Island environment. And due to the fact that the enormous amount of extra water, energy, disturbance of soils is going to be taking place, that I make a motion that we send a negative appraisal to the zoning board. Someone second that?
I second.
All in favor? Aye.
No. I don't think it's inappropriate for the area.
So that was 3 to, did you say that? So the motion has been denied, 3-2. 5.
The motion's been accepted, you said negative,
Oh.
but their application or approval. But your motion was,
Oh, okay. Oh, okay, yes, we approved for now, we're gonna have a vote.
right?
Yes.
In favor, but
So can we take a vote now? Because did you all understand that, which I didn't, that we were taking a vote on the motion?
I did. Your motion is to send an unfavorable.
Right, so, and it was approved, 3-2. So all in favor of the motion to deny the applicant and to send an unfavorable advisory to the zoning board, say aye. Aye,
Aye.
No.
thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming. Appreciate it. Bye, John. Thank you.
I know, but, you know, this is our job, right?
Okay, sorry about that.
Now, you don't know, so many pieces of paper. Those are bathrooms, right? Yeah. Are we on the bathrooms?
Yes, yes.
on the
I'm just, sorry, I'm
bathrooms.
just trying to get my,
Waiting for Ned to organize here.
all righty. Thank you, Tom.
All set?
Yep, that's,
So
Great
for-
town of application, Town Shore, Plat 3, Lot 127, Mansion Road, advisory to the zoning board for a town bath down at Mansion Beach.
That's it. So for those of you that don't know me, I think I know almost all of you, I'm Tom Reese. I'm the facility manager for the town. I picked up this job a couple years ago after Sam Bird left and picked up this job as well. And I've asked Mike Shea to join me here today. I'm sure you all know Mike because he started this job with Sam. And so if you go back to the beginning, Mike will be able to answer what I can't. So as you have before you, we have an assent from CRMC and a DEM approval for the OWTS. And the project is to put a concrete building on basically in the location where the porta potties have been in the past on Mansion Beach. It's basically between the emergency road to the north and the circuit road to the south. So there's a little part in there just north of the path where the bikes and everybody goes up to the beach. So you've all been by there 1,000 times. The assent was required to have the OWTS from the DEM. And the DEM asked us to enlarge the size of the containment for the septic, and we did that. We increased it by 1,000 gallons. So that will lower the number of trips that we'll have to pump it out. And there is a water tank in the building that is, there's two water tanks actually, one filled by rainfall from the roof that is used for flushing, and another that is filled with tanks that we will deliver as needed for hand washing. That is water only for hand washing. But the Department of Health waived any jurisdiction here because we're not selling the water or giving it out as water to consume. So all the permits are in place. The process is now, the zoning commission has it. They're waiting for your favorable, your what's the word I'm looking for? No, it's a referral, I guess. What?
Advisory. Advisory.
Yes, advisory. Thank you. And then, and planning as well. Planning had some very specific questions, which have already been answered. So then we go to zoning at the end of the month to get this in. These units have been in construction for about a year. And we're just now working out transportation to get it here should all the, all the permits come into place. I'm sorry? Yes. Yeah, it's a concrete structure. There's two modules to the structure. The vaults that go in the sand, and then the building that goes on top of them, and all the toilets and sinks and the urinals drain to the tank, and then the town would pump it out periodically, maybe once or twice a summer or as needed. We have a monitoring system on there that will be powered by batteries, which are charged by solar panels. So the entire structure is self-contained. There's no services supporting it. And it's about your visual scale, it's about the size of the broadband building behind the police station or the Ball O'Brien bathrooms. So as you can see in your drawings, there's a men's room, women's room, and a small utility room in the middle, which is where they pump it out and all that kind of stuff. So Mike and I are here to.
We're going from 2 porta potties to a permanent building.
Yep.
Yep.
It'll be closed, it'll be cleaned daily by the same people that clean the heads at the Old Harbor and at the Visitor Center and the Bimini bathrooms, and it'll be locked at 10 o'clock at night and not open again till 6 a.m. so that we don't promote people sleeping there.
Um, I love the idea. I think it's great. I have a couple questions. 14.7 feet. So that's, are you, and the actual CRMC said the project life may be shortened by these processes, meaning sea level rise, storm surge, and erosion damages to land, aquatic life, loss of public access. So CRMC is signing off on the fact that the projected sea level rise in the next 10 or 15 years could be 3 feet, right, at least.
I don't know that.
Beg your pardon?
Who knows what it's gonna be? That's.
Yeah, but every scientist in America said there's gonna be a sea level rise. So are you taking that into consideration? Right now, at 14.7, Hurricane Sandy had a 12-foot storm surge projected and the 14 feet further south. So if we got a 14-foot storm surge coming across Mansion Beach, that building is pretty much underwater and all the tanks are being sort of lifted out of the ground, let's say. Projected, this is a scenario I'm thinking of. So what's your thought on the fact that it couldn't be moved across the little access road to an 18 to where it's about 18 feet on the contour lines?
So we worked with CRMC for a long time on this, and we had it initially a little bit toward the pond, and they were okay with that, but in principle, we moved it up 2 feet
Yeah.
in elevation there. There's a bunch of procedural things here that if we had it out in, I think you're talking about in the foundation
No,
of the house or in that parking area that's
yeah, just
across.
past, if you're going out,
Yeah,
there's a big
so-
open area, it's already open, lots of space. You wouldn't have to
One of the problems is, Ned, that this is the only bathroom north of town, including at the North Light and any of that. And we have to try and make it for the beach people and the people that are at Mansion Beach and not any tourist driving up the neck coming in to use the
Yeah, but
portable
it's
bathrooms.
just like 10 feet away. What's the difference?
No, so
And it's 10 feet away and 4 feet higher on
right,
the
the-
elevation.
Corps of, or sorry, not different project. CRMC was good with this, with the location. We discussed it at length. It's a sealed unit so that unless the water, comes in the door, it's not going to get into they have to get in the door and then up into the toilets to get down into the tanks. But that's not, within their planning. So they approved it as it is, where it is. And I think, they obviously had even more engineers than we did looking at it. So I have to go with their advice. They were happy where it was, and we really didn't want it up in the foundation because then it's going to get used by many more people and increase the traffic to that
But
site.
they also say the project life may be shortened by these processes, natural, so to shorten. So
Could be.
if we have a superstorm next year, it shortens the whole thing by 1 year or by ever.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Yep, yep.
So they're signing off on the fact, they're not even mentioning, they are actually mentioning possibility of sea level rise, storm inundation. That's what I'm saying. That's the red flag that I have about exactly where it's located. Why couldn't it be picked up, moved up a little bit into the existing parking lot and that little parking space?
Yep.
Anybody have any thoughts?
Yeah, I wonder if that was even talked about, moving it up to a higher elevation.
Another thing is that a couple of the abutters that have called us, when they got their notice, the two on the top of the hill were happy with where it was from their personal, you can imagine their personal desires, because it's going to be hidden in amongst those trees and it'll be, less of an eyesore in there. The one person that did write a letter, those are both telephone advisories. The one person that wrote a letter suggested something similar to what Ned's describing, but it actually is going to make it worse for them because they'll be able to see it through the trees, whereas now it's buried in that shrub area. So
Well,
I
I think we
think
need
if
to
they
find
looked
out.
at the sighting, they would have.
So Tom, What's the dimension of the building? Is it 10 by 12
So, it's 8 by 16, I think.
and with a 50-foot perimeter around it, correct? Of cleared land.
No, it's not that much. If you look at the map, there's only one little area for runoff just to the,
I thought it said that you had, it said in the application, you could make a 50-foot clearing in order to put the building in. So that area you want to put the building is in sort of a hollow, right? With
no,
all
no,
the
it's
trees.
not, it's in the highest point between the two roads. So yet last year or the last 5 years, the porta potties have been on the north side of the lower road. And this is 2 or 3 feet above that.
Because I saw the site and I looked at the old foundation, it seemed to be just across the road from the old foundation, right?
Mhm.
And almost on a 45-degree angle from that northeast corner.
Maybe.
It seemed to be.
Something like that,
Seemed to be putting it in where there's a full hollow of cherry trees.
It's, I mean, we've been there a lot. When you park right there, you're basically at road level.
You have that site plan here?
Well, you have it right here too, on top.
While they're looking, I'm wondering if you can select the compostable. You know, those have been used quite extensively in Massachusetts. And a compostable toilet, I mean, there's all sorts of benefits for that, including and the fact that it can be maintained in.
Yeah,
in a
I-
similar-
I'll tell you, and Mike's gonna kick me if I don't. The administrative functions of both composting toilets and incinerator toilets is 100-fold. But this is how all the sewage is taken back to the sewer plant and treated and denitrified and all sorts of other stuff. Those would require many more people on his staff to maintain on a daily basis. They are not, this is what everybody's going to now. Probably can't hear me over the ruffling papers, but this is what everybody's going to. They're getting away from those because of the maintenance nightmares with the composting and the incinerator toilets.
Well, there's two different types of composting toilets.
Could be. Okay, so here's the-
Because
And I'm
this is
not
like,
expert,
it's like 15 by 15 by 15.
Yeah, this is what-
They require fans, but they do require some, but so does this.
doesn't show it.
Right.
I did speak to the composting company, I don't recall the name of it right now. When we did the estimates of number of people on the beach and how big of a unit we would need, he estimated we would need 7 to 9 of them, which would, it was just way too expensive.
7 to 9 units.
Yes, to accommodate the number of people we'd be, that are on the beach, using it on a daily basis, plus the maintenance, and even the guy that does the composting toilet said this is not gonna work.
Really?
Yes,
That whole-
Because that seems.
because of
a
the
little
cost,
Strange to me because of the places I've been
Yeah.
with the traffic that goes through the,
I'm just going by what he said.
yeah.
He said it just wouldn't be practical. I mean, the amount of room that we would take up with that
I mean,
would be tremendous. The maintenance, and basically it's just a glorified porta potty. You're looking at what's in there. I mean, the beauty of this is that you're not seeing or smelling.
You good with it?
It's like you're-
In regard to what Ned was saying about the clearing of the trees, though, there are like a bunch of native trees there. I was just wondering if those are gonna be repurposed on the property somehow as well. They're like native, like, shad bush.
All we're gonna be removing is a bunch of scrub right there that's all entangled with briars and
There's
stuff.
some natives.
I'm sure, but I don't believe we're clearing any trees. We're just clearing the involving invasive stuff that's right there. It's, if you go to the site, you'll see basically the area where it's gonna be cleared. And it's all entangled with stuff. It's not trees. Well, there are trees on the site, but
Okay,
We're not going in there.
just based off of the plans, I thought that it was gonna be expanded a little bit, like for trees to be cleared.
Yeah, all we need is enough for the crane to be able to swing these units.
So is the path gonna be moved
No,
then?
no.
Yeah.
They'll be accessing from either from the road or from the emergency road in the back.
But based off of when I was looking at the site, it looked like where the building was gonna go, but there were trees there, but I guess.
Oh, there are trees, but I don't think they need to be removed to put the unit in.
Okay.
Right.
Well, if there has to be trees to be removed. then we can-
Sure. I mean, that's always the desire.
So if we don't like it, it's gonna wash away.
No, it's not. No, it's not.
Just wait. The location too is flat, so those fit in, it's not sticking out. But if you're using the beach, coming up from the beach, you see it. If you're in the parking lot, you don't necessarily see it. And that's what we want it. We want it to be used by the beachgoers, not necessarily, people coming down there. So we were trying to keep it as secluded as possible, but it's used by the people that were intending it.
So the only thing I'm still concerned about is the storm surge and existing bulletproof from the.
We spoke to the company about that. We spoke to them and they didn't do it.
People who built their CRC.
The builders and CRs. Yeah.
And you feel good about that?
It's all concrete. It's core filled block, the whole thing. And it's like a two-piece septic tank. It's all gasketed where they come together and bolted through. There's bolts running up from the bottom foundation right up to the roof.
And what's the provision for, let's say, got a hurricane coming 5 days, so what do? You shut it down and somebody comes and pumps it all out, pumps out the.
No, you wouldn't want to do that. Just like a septic tank, the worst septic tank is an empty one because it goes buoyant. So,
You fill it with water.
Yeah.
They got the effluent.
Yeah.
Move it down.
Right.
What about exterior lighting?
There is a motion sensor door, a light right over the outside door that will go off at 10 o'clock, so it doesn't bother any of the abutters. And that's just a safety thing. We're not lighting the area, we're just lighting the pad in front of the door. It's all run off car battery or some batteries.
You lock it at night, or is it?
It'll be locked from 10 PM to 6 AM to discourage people sleeping and using it for that. Yeah. That was-
Is there any special like mechanism that would potentially like close the septic if there were to be flooding to go down the pipes of the toilets? That
No.
would, no.
You're just like, a flooded basement. If you have a toilet in that basement, as soon as it gets over the rim of the bowl, that's gonna be your drain.
Gotcha.
So it's all steel doors. I think it's pretty bulletproof.
Anybody have any other,
Tom brought up tonight, given a quote from Wilbur, who knows how many people poop in the woods, okay? And
Oh, yeah.
yards, okay, so it's hard to be against something like this. And that's what-
As the department that does the cleaning of the town properties, I can tell you, it's been discussed. The beaches, the dunes, parking lots.
Graces go, Dory's go,
Yeah.
the Coast Guard station, they just poop where they have to.
And one of the neighbors of this, slightly north, was doing it, like, what we were considering it. She had tears in her, eyes. She was so
I was wondering, I didn't see I'm sure that there already is plans for this, but like, are there plans for trash cans to go into, like, over there that will be like taken care of by the transfer station employees and stuff like that? Because there's always just like
they're very,
urinals and trash everywhere.
very small. The trash can, so they don't get the beach trash. There's,
So people still take their stuff out.
We hope.
We hope, but unfortunately, what happens is, people don't go off on the Sunday afternoon boat, don't realize the dump closes at 1:30, and now they have somewhere to put their weekend trash. So it ends up in all the waste receptacles that then we pay to have empty.
and this is an area that's checked every single month. So, I know said in terms of it overflowing or something like that, check every morning.
I mean, I agree with it, yeah, okay, that's a private destination is, Manhattan Beach, so there's a lot of traffic going up there. Not just beach traffic, not just the parking. It's a destination, a lot of beach traffic.
And the alarm system is very sophisticated for this. So the potable water tank rings out at 40%, and the septic tank, which is 3,000 gallons, triple the size of the one in your house, rings off at 60%. It will call me or Mike or somebody, and then we get the sewer department to go pump it out. Right now, the worst case scenario is once or twice a month, but we'll know more as we see what the usage is. There might be weekends when it needs pumping, and then 3 or 4 or 5 weeks when it doesn't. So
There's also safety, so you don't need the alarm. Safety, wastewater and, I don't know if Tom mentioned it too. With the hand washing water, that goes into the gray water also. It's used as flush, so it's used together. In addition to the rainwater.
Now, all we have to do is put a meter there, okay, and they can charge the water, you know?
Yeah.
They don't have to have a hot one.
I have one question. At different points, you refer to hand washing water and then term potable was used.
no, we
There's
can't
no
use,
potable
we
water?
can't use the term potable.
Okay,
The plans do, but they don't understand the Rhode Island regulations. So the minute it leaves the water company, it's no longer potable because nobody can certify the container
Okay.
that it's carried in.
it should be marked at some point.
It will be. It'll be non-potable water, not for drinking, hand washing only. There'll be signs everywhere for that.
But there is gonna be drinkable water, right?
No.
No, okay.
There's going to be 3 tanks, a sewage tank, a gray water tank that's used for flushing. That's rainwater and the drains from the sink, and then the tank that we fill periodically that was used for hand washing.
Which we will transport from the garage down the water system.
It sounds to me like a reasonable alternative for funds.
And
So the green flush is not green water.
No. Or green drinking.
anybody have anything else? Um,
Yeah, well, if this works out well, and we have every expectation that it will, we would like to we can get grant money to put one maybe at the stairs, Mohegan Bluffs, and maybe one on Grace's or Dory's Cove, where there's a lot of people that are 5 miles away from the nearest public toilet.
Yeah.
And
I've been out to North Lake, okay, to the tours, and we charge people, okay, we make them pay. Put them up there.
They're having preliminary talks with DBM about Fremont Plus, and they were very receptive. It's very new to them. but They're very interested in this project and see how it works.
Cool. All right, well, thank you. We'll take a motion now.
Yeah, I move we send a favorable advisory regarding this project to zoning and planning.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous? Thank you very much.
Thanks, gentlemen.
Thanks for your work, guys.
Appreciate it.
That's it. On the minutes,
Hopefully no one feeds it.
I didn't get any more.
I didn't think of that.
We're gonna table the minutes, because I didn't get a copy.
Table the minutes for 2-year officers.
All right, and I will now join this meeting.
No,
No officers,
you have an elected officer yet.
well, we have to have a full house.
Yeah, we prefer to have everyone here. That's why we usually do it about, September, January.
Yeah.
She's amazing.
So.
Thank you, Cory.
We need all the help we can get.
At some point, we'll all touch the microphone thing. I'm not sure when that will be, but
We don't use straws anymore, Dave.
Straw and